What's up, Track Headz? It's D Brown with Track Headz, and today I'd like to welcome you to another episode. Um, right now we're discussing picks for the Olympic, for the Olympic finals, for the Olympic winners. We're talking about the Olympics, the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. We want to see who's going to be, getting in that top three position, whether it's what countries, what athletes. Right now we're looking at the women's 200 right now because it seems like every single event is just stacked right now, especially when we're talking about sprinting, right? We took a big blow with Shakari Richardson, getting caught up with her her issue, her case, or whatever the case is, in terms of like smoking and it being against the rules. I have no um, big opinions about it. I mean, it's just one of those things where she's gonna be good regardless. I feel like Nike's supporting her. She has stardom that seems like it's gonna transcend, especially now. It's gonna transcend track and field. So there's no it would have been cool to see her, but either way, it's gonna be a good race. I feel like in Tokyo. So right now we're looking at the women's 200, and honestly, from what I see from the women's 200, it's going to be crazy. I think when you look at the race, especially for the USA trials, you looking at it, a 21.98 did not make it into the trials, right? So top three, um, everyone was running under 21, and it's crazy that fourth place was a 21.98. I think it was Tamara Clark from the University of Alabama, and she did not make it in. And it's really making me think like for the actual Olympic final, could we possibly see a fourth place finisher that finishes in like an all time greatest like 200-meter performance ever and not make it in the top three, right? We have Gabby, right? We have Jenna Prandini. Um, I do not recall who got third place for the USA's. Let me look that up. Hold on. All right, there we go. I want to make sure I got her name right. So third place was Anna Via Battle, last name Battle, but she went to she's a college athlete, so that's why I didn't know her professionally. But she did her thing, ran 21 as well. And even when you take those three athletes, right, and you really put into perspective, like they all ran 21, and the fourth place finisher did not ran 21 as well, but did not make it in. Then you go to other countries. You go to Jamaica, right? You have Shelly Ann Fraser Price. She ran 21.7. You have Sharika Jackson, also sub 22, and you also have Elaine Thompson, who ran just over 22, like 22.02, I believe, in her trials, but has been known to. She has like the number three all time before this Gabby Thomas performance. She had the number three or number four all time 200-meter dash at like 21. I want to say six high or 21.7, but like had one of the top times ever, right, in 2016. So it really makes me think, right? When you have all these athletes running 21, they're healthy, they're all running 21 seconds, and they all haven't peaked yet, right? I mean, we can kind of say with the, Olympics trials that maybe the college athlete peaked, but 21 isn't that. 21 is such a great time that I feel like if her coach, really restructures, if you have 6 weeks, like she has the Olympic trials and then a 6 week time period between that and the Olympic trials that she'll be able to do something like maybe reload and then get back to running that fast again. But that's a lot of athletes running 21 seconds, and it really begs the question that can we be looking at a world record, right? And if you would have asked me, I would say yeah. I think that we can or at least very close to it, and I think that we can very well see a 21-4, at the very least a 21-5 heading into the Tokyo trials. And I'll tell you why. Gabby Thomas, and I'm not saying it's going to be her, but what I'm saying is that when I look at her credentials of the fact that she is a 51-second 400-meter runner this year, and that in the 100 she only got down to maybe 10.9, and she went and ran 21.61, that is a tremendous amount of speed endurance that she's carrying with her to run faster than twice her 100. right? So if you have a 10.9, you multiply that by 2, right? That's a 21.8. She went 21.61. That tells me that when she transitions off of that curve, and let's say I think she split like 11.2, she doesn't decelerate, at least at the rate of everyone else, right? She continues her velocity all the way to the finish line to run 21.6. So she's running like, that's impressive, right? That's tremendously impressive, because even if you look at Usain Bolt's world record of 9.58, right? You multiply that by 2, that is what, 1916? Yeah, 9.58 times 2 is 19.16. He ran 19.19. That's great speed endurance, because he almost doubled his 100-meter time. Gabby Thomas like went under double her 100. Okay? So when I really think about that she went 1061 and she's maybe not at her peak yet for the 100, because honestly, at this point of the season, what, you continue doing speed endurance work, right? You do continued speed work, right? Because it's not like she can like completely peaked for this Olympic trials. So maybe that 10.9 can get to like a 10.85, 10.87. We've seen stranger things happen, especially with faster tracks and things of that nature, right? You have less and then she was getting faster with every single 100 at the trials, which is crazy. So there's so many factors that can lead her into running a faster race, right? And even at the 400 point, what if she gets down to 50, right? What if she continues to put in the work necessary to continue to improve that speed endurance? That's dangerous. That's super dangerous, right? Because now you're looking at an athlete that will run away from you. Like, she may not be here to the first 50, but she will run away from you. And I believe Jenna Prandini is the same way, right? An athlete that may not be the fastest to the 50, but her speed endurance is like ridiculous. So, pardon me, I had a phone call, but yeah, like I was saying, when you have someone who has that kind of speed and they're going to continue dropping all their times from the 100 to the 400, we could, and then the fact that when she ran that 200, she ran the last 10 meters like this. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with Sha'Carri Richardson when she crossed her line. Like, this is not the way to run. This is not aerodynamic. You know what I'm saying? You stop pumping your arms. You just using the momentum that you built up in the first, 190 of your 200. So the fact that she did that and she went 21.61, point oh 0.02 is nothing, right? So that could very well be a 19.5 performance. And then when you have the likes of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, who's gonna get out, right? You have the Sharika Jackson from Jamaica, right? Who has a hell of a last 100. So there ain't gonna be no this. You got to run through that line, or she's gonna catch you, because she has a 49-second 400-meter PR, and she just went 10.77. She is also a person that I'm looking at that could push Gabby Thomas, or she could very well be the athlete to break it herself, right? To get down to that 21.4, because honestly, if she's even in the a similar form in which she was at in 2019 when she went 49.4, we're looking at an athlete who has a PR of 49.4, and we're looking at an athlete who just went 10.77. So even if she has the same speed endurance as Gabby, right? 10.77 times 2 is damn near 21.4, 21.5. That's dangerous. And again, they did not peak yet. Their peak is later on in the season. And from what I'm seeing from Sharika is that she's running a lot of 22 O's, 21 nines, 21 nines, 22 O's, right? Getting real comfortable with that, right? And the way I'm seeing it is that if she puts together a good race, you might very well see a 21.7, a 20, even like a 21.7 that is not medal, right? Like, which has probably has never been heard from before, right? You look at Elaine Thompson, same person, same kind of athlete, has very tremendous top end speed, right? He doesn't really run the 400 like that, but has very good top end speed, and has been shown to go 21.6, right? By winning, the 2016 Olympics and beating skippers from I forgot, she's Dutch, I think, but or Sweden or one of those countries over there. But very talented athlete, right? ran 21.6. Now she's already went 10.7, 1. I feel like she's gonna be in great shape to go 10.6 the same time that Shelly Ann Fraser Price does, or at the Olympic final, assuming that she makes it with it, no injuries, right? So what 10, even if she may not have the same speed endurance as like Sharika Jackson or maybe Gabby Thomas, but she's still gonna run maybe like another 21.6. You know, everyone's peaking for this moment. So that's another 21.6, right? And then you're also looking at the fact you got Shawnee Miller-Weibo who said that she was going to run the 200. So you look at her race. Let's break this Shawnee Miller-Weibo down, right? Last year or 2019, she went 48.2, right? 2019 or I think 2020, she became the first woman to have a sub 11, sub 22, and maybe sub 50. I don't think there's another woman to do it. I'm thinking. Sharika Jackson has, or maybe a sub 49. There we go. Sharika Jackson has to have a sub 49. So I think she's the first one to go sub 49, sub 22, and then sub 11. She went 10, 9, and hurt her hamstring a little bit after that. So I'm assuming that if Shawnee Miller-Weibo is also a person that could be dangerous, doesn't not have the best 50, but from 50 to 200, a monster, right? I think she's like 6'4", 6'5", something like that. Neanderthal. Not Neanderthal, but she's a giant, right? That's a bad word. She's not Neanderthal. She's beautiful. But what I'm saying is that she's very tall and very lanky, and her turnover is very piston-like. And if she gets that momentum off the curve, maybe like a lane 8, lane 9, lane 7, it again, that's another 21.6, another 21.7. So my belief is, assuming that everyone shows up to the party, right? And you're also looking at that girl from Nigeria who went 10.63. I forgot her name. But even if you look at her race, she's a better, in history's past, she's a better 200-meter runner than she was in the 100. Great finisher. She's like 5'10", 5'11". But she hasn't really run many 200s. She ran in a 200 with Sha'Carri Richardson, got second place. This was earlier in the season. Sha'Carri went like 22-0, 22-1-2, I believe. That was the time. And she got second place. But she's a better 200-meter runner than she is the 100, right? She hasn't ran many 200s this year, but if she's humming at 10.6, and that was a one-off race, wind dated, but if she, is consistently like a 10.8 by the time she gets to the Olympics, 10.7, and she has the proper speed endurance, which she gets trained by DeGrasse's coach, she gets trained by Trayvon Bromel's coach, Rainer Ryder, assuming that he does and they do everything that they're supposed to do for the speed endurance aspect of the race, that's another 21-second 200-meter athlete. And I think the only thing that's going to be the deciding factor is who can handle those rounds. That's one. Who can stay injury free. That's two. And who can stay the most focused in their lane. Because at the end of the day, when you have 8 young ladies or 7 or 6 young ladies who have all gone 21 seconds, right? The deciding factor is going to be how you run those rounds. Not just energy-wise, but like we're talking about places as well, right? Because the place determines your lane. Would I want to be a 21-second runner in lane 1 or 2? Would I want to be a 21-second runner in lane 7 or 8? Right? That's determined by maybe the 22-2 that I run in the prelims or semifinals, which is determined by maybe the 22-4 performance that I put in the prelims, right? But who can handle going 22-4, 22-2, or maybe even 21-9, and then crack down to a 21-6 or 5 in the final? Who can handle all those rounds? I can tell you there's a couple athletes that actually can because they have that 400-meter base. Shawnee Miller-Weibo, right? Sharika Jackson, maybe Gabby Thomas because she had a couple 400s under her belt, and she actually did that at the Olympic trials, right? Because she was the only person to go either 22-0 or 21-9 in the semifinals. So she has done it. Shelly Ann Fraser Price, Elaine Thompson, assuming that she's healthy after her 100. Sharika Jackson, right? Because she has the base of a 400-meter runner. There's Janet Prandini, because she's shown that she has the speed endurance. It's gonna be one hell of a race. So I think this could be definitely the sneaker race, the race that's gonna slip under a lot of people's radars. That could actually be like better than the 100 because there's more people that's competitive. With the women's 100, it's just gonna be a sweep. Shakari Richardson is gone. Like you have that the young lady from Nigeria. You have three Jamaicans, and then you have like Tai Lu from Africa. I don't know the I think she's from I don't know the actual country in Africa that she runs for, but it's orange. She's been humming, running 10.8s and stuff. Then you have Dina Asher Smith. Dina Asher Smith as well. I forgot all about her. Dina Asher Smith is going to be in mix because last year she's the world champion for 2019. So the question is, is she going to be able to sneak in there as well, which makes it even more competitive because she is such a strong athlete, right? She actually won the world championships, so she's like the most. She can be considered the favorite, you know, if it wasn't for Shelly Ann Frazier Price and Elaine Thompson's killing it in the 100. But as far as the 200, and besides Gabby Thomas, of course, running this number 2 all time, she could very well be that next person to sneak in there. So definitely gonna be the race to watch. I recommend watching it. Um, all I can say is I will put my money on this is gonna be one of the fastest. This is gonna be one of the fastest women's 200s we have ever seen. And I have no doubt that if everything plays according to plan, the heat, everyone's injury free, everyone's hydrated. It kind of sucks that they don't have fans in the stadium, but if everything plays according to plan, we could very well be looking at a world record. I don't see why not. The world record is 21.34 by FloJo and what done in the 80s. Even if it's like a little bit of wind out there, I think we're looking at tapping on the door like 21.39. You heard it first. I think like 21.39, 21.43, assuming that whoever breaks it has at least is humming like 10.7 high, 10.8, and they have the speed endurance to keep going. Even Shawnee Miller-Rebo, she's anywhere between like at a 10.9.1. I believe she has the speed endurance to maintain that. I don't see why not. Michael Johnson had a 10.01, 200 meter or 100 meter PR, but he was able to crack a 19.32, and that's because his 400 was ridiculous, and he had the speed endurance to maintain his velocity. So that's my take on it. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. What are your predictions? Top 3, top 5, 6, 7, 8. Who do you think is gonna win? Who are you cheering for? Or if they're a flaw in my analysis, I could be very well wrong in what I'm talking about, but I feel like I'm not. Okay, I feel like I'm not, but we're gonna see how that goes. But without further ado, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching. D Brown with Track Headz. Let me know what y'all think about this one, cause I'm very curious. All right, D Brown with Track Headz, y'all. Peace.